Gentlemen, I call to order the regular city council meeting of the Sierra Vista City Council for October 27th, 2022. Madam Clerk, may we have a roll call, please?
Mayor Rick Mueller,
Present.
Councilmember William Benning,
Present.
Councilmember Gregory Johnson,
Present.
Councilmember Angelica Landry,
Present.
Councilmember Marta Messmer,
Present.
Councilmember Mark Rodriguez,
Present.
Councilmember Carolyn Humphrey.
Present.
Mr. Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you, Mrs. Adams. Tonight we'll start as usual with our roll call, our invocation led by Councilmember Rodriguez and our Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilmember Mesmer. Please rise.
Please pray to your higher being as I pray to mine. Lord, please watch over us today as we try and do what's best for our community and everyone in it. Guide our hands as you would your disciples, our followers that sought your guidance and wisdom. As we continue through this U.S. election season, please help us to remember to always elect to be human first, and to remember that we can all coexist even if we have differing opinions. Please watch over those who will be out and about trick-or-treating this weekend and next week. Keep them safe from harm so they can all enjoy themselves but also return home safely to their loved ones. Please heal those who have difficulties during this recent change in weather as we move into flu season, especially all the people who are currently dealing with respiratory issues. And lastly, Lord, please provide where you can for those who may be unsheltered during these colder months ahead. In all this in your name we pray. Amen. Amen.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. Thank you, Councilmember Rodriguez and Councilmember Mesmer. Item number 1 is the acceptance of the agenda. Mr. Johnson.
Mr. Mayor, I move that the agenda for the regular city council meeting of October 27th, 2022 be approved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any corrections, additions, clarifications on the document?
No.
Seeing none. Let me kill that. Seeing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you very much. We now go on to the city manager's report. Mr. Patuchik.
Thank you, Mayor Mueller. Members of the council, your next regularly scheduled work session is scheduled for Tuesday, November 8th, 3 p.m. here in the council chambers, and that will feature our ongoing discussion on boards and commissions. Then, of course, your next regular meeting is the 10th of November, Thursday, and note the time change of 4 p.m. For that particular meeting, also here in the chambers. A few projects tonight and items of interest. As I mentioned, we're started with the St. Vincent de Paul parking lot, and we're expecting completion of that November 4th, so pretty soon. We also are out for our strategic leadership planning consultant that'll facilitate your next strategic plan, probably in the February-March timeframe, and that due date for those responses is November 10th. And then the audiovisual upgrades at the police department for the EOC are due on November 9th this year. Finally, the sales tax I reported on at the work session was up 9% year over year, so a nice bounce back there, and those were August receipts. And then some good news today from Mr. Felix, who's not known for always giving us good news, but nonetheless, we talk a lot about the public safety retirement system and the issues we've had with that over the years, and the steps we've had to take to get that under control. But we also have another retirement system, the Arizona State Retirement System, which has been run more conservatively and has had fewer problems. Nonetheless, we still had a liability there, which last year was over $19 million, and due to investment performance, that actually moved down to the 14 million plus range there. So that was very good news as well with regards to our ASRS liability. And that's all I have tonight. Thank you, Mayor Merlin.
Thank you, Mr. Patuchik. Any questions for Mr. Patuchik on this report? Okay, thank you. We next go on to item number 2, the consent agenda. Councilwoman Landry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that the consent agenda consisting of the regular city council meeting minutes of October 13th, 2022, resolution 2022-067, accepting a warranty deed for recordation of GL Mountain Vista LLC, and resolution 2022-068, recession of resolution 2020-040, authorizing the mayor of the city of Sierra Vista to declare a local emergency and to adopt by declaration policies regarding the wearing of face coverings be approved.
Second.
Did you want to recuse yourself?
Yes,
before I call
for
for it?
item
So it's been moved
2.1.
and seconded, and you want to do
Abstain from the voting on the minutes.
on the
For,
2.1?
Item 2.1 for
Okay.
October 13th minutes, yeah.
Okay, so she's gonna be voting for, or she's gonna abstain on 2.1 and vote for the other two, so just so that's clear. Or vote on the other two, I should say. Okay,
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 just so everyone knows.
okay. So, any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous, with the exception. Thank you. Next item is a public hearing item. Item number 3, Mr. Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that resolution 2022-069, a new Series 10 liquor license for Deborah Russell, on behalf of Sierra Vista Natural Foods Co-op Incorporation, Sierra Vista Food Co-op, be approved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Ms. Adams, may we have the staff report, please?
Mayor Mueller, members of council, as moved by Councilmember Rodriguez, this is an application for a new Series 10, which is a beer and wine store license for the food co-op located at 96 South Carmichael. The notice of this public hearing was posted on the building, and to date, we have received no comments from the public, pro or con. The police department performed their background check of the applicant and have no objection to this application moving forward, and if approved tonight, it will be returned to the liquor board for final approval.
Thank you, Mrs. Adams. This is a public hearing item. I've received nothing to indicate that we have any member of the public that wants to address us on this item. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to address us on this item? Seeing that, I'll close the meeting to the public. Any questions for Mrs. Adams' discussion? Okay, it's pretty routine. I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you very much. We now move on to new business. Item number 4, Mr. Benning.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that Resolution 2022-070, an intergovernmental agreement with Cochise County Community College District for the purpose of sharing property, facilities, equipment, personnel, services, and/or other assets, as well as the construction and shared use of a driving track, be approved.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Mrs. Wilson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. The intergovernmental agreement before you this evening will permit the Cochise County Community College District to construct a large concrete pad to cover approximately 5 acres of underutilized city property. The property to be used for this action is located on a 10-acre parcel of land that's located east of Fire Station 3 on North Julio Cesar Avenue. Cochise College will use this property as a track to support public safety and other driver safety training and certification programs to include their CDL certifications. This driver safety course will also support the college's First Responders Academy, which will be located here in Sierra Vista. When the property is not being utilized by the college, the city may also use the property for driver's training, certification courses, activities, event overflow parking, and other public uses. If approved, reservations for the jointly used space will be managed through the Department of Parks, Recreation, and Library. In exchange for the land improvements, Cochise College will receive the first priority for usage at no cost, followed by official city uses, and then general public uses. The city will agree to maintain the property once the construction phase is complete. That concludes the staff report, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mrs. Wilson. Any questions for Mrs. Wilson? Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you very much. We now move to item number 5. Councilwoman Mesmer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, I move that Resolution 2022-071, an intergovernmental agreement with the Whetstone Fire District for ambulance billing services be approved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Mr. Felix, may we have the staff report, please?
Mayor, members of council, about 5 years ago in 2017, the city and the Whetstone Fire District entered into an IGA for us to do their ambulance billing services. They're happy with our service. It was more efficient for them to have us do it since we've got trained personnel in it. And with us upping the fee at about $16 a run to them, it generates about $500. They do not have a large amount of calls, which also makes it more efficient for them to subcontract with us to do the billing for them. Obviously, that's not the total call of the run, but that's what we will charge them for the run is the $16. This IGA will renew that agreement for another 5 years. Be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Questions for Mr. Felix? Any further discussion? I'll just say we've been doing this for a number of years, and it's beneficial to both parties, so it's a good item for us as a city. Seeing no other questions, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you very much. We now go to item number 6, Councilman Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that Resolution 2022-072, declaring for the purposes of Section 1.150-2 of the Federal Treasury Regulations and the official intent to be reimbursed in connection with certain capital expenditures be approved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Mr. Felix, please.
Quite a mouthful there. Mayor, members of council, this is our annual reimbursement resolution. The IRS requires that we say that we officially intend to be reimbursed for capital expenses if we do not have the capital financing within place 30 days after we make the purchase. By waiting and bundling at the end of the year, it gives us the option to either not finance, like we've done quite often recently due to cash, or it also lets us wait until the equipment is in, which again, with all the vehicles for the last few years, we've had a lot of problems with. It does not mean we're required to finance the items. It just says that we intend to as we go through the budget process, and we've called out to do that. We did add the 2 ambulances to the financing resolution because of some changes in the Schneider project and some changes in the animal control situation. It gives us the flexibility that if we want to finance those as well, we can and use that cash out towards one of the other 2 projects if we need to. Again, we don't need to finance them. If we have the cash, we can cash them out as well. Be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Questions for Mr. Felix on this item? Any further discussion on the council? Thanks, Mr. Felix. And no further discussion. I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you very much. And thank you, Mr. Felix, for managing the Federal Treasury regulations for us. Must be interesting. I'm glad it's you and not me. Councilwoman Landry, item number 7, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that Resolution 2022-073, accepting the grant from the Tohono O'odham Nation for a medical chest compression device be approved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Chief Jones.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Mueller and members of council. Sierra Vista Fire Medical Services submitted a grant of application of $17,000 for medical chest compression device, better known as the Lucas device, and received a grant award from the Tohono O'odham Nation. The funding of this project will increase the survival rates of patients suffering from an out-of-hospital cardiac arrest emergency. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions for Chief Jones? Okay. I think the people would like to know the answer to the question that was asked at the work session, which is, this is one item. How are we going to ensure that we have enough items to go around the city, and what's your plan on that?
Mayor Mueller, members of council, we do have 1 Lucas device on the way, and with our 2 ambulances that have been ordered, Lucas devices were put into that budget for them as well. So each of our first-line ambulances will have Lucas devices on them.
Okay, that's great. And I want to thank you for bringing me the letter to sign to thank the chairman of the Tohono O'odham Nation for their generosity. That's appreciated. Okay, any further discussion?
One quick question.
Yes, sir.
The college has one already that they use for training. Is that correct? Do they have one? Coaches College have one for training purposes only?
Councilman Rodriguez, we had a demo Lucas device that may be the one. I'm not sure if the college has one.
Okay, thank you.
That's a good question. We may want to talk to the college about that, since they're training a lot of our EMTs. Okay.
And I think also, Mr. Mayor, if I may interrupt, that Mr. Michael McKierney was the one that
Yes.
should be acknowledged for pursuing this particular
Grant.
So I want to make sure that that's on the record.
Mayor Mueller, Councilman Johnson, we will be recognizing Mr. McCraney at one of our all-hands meetings.
Okay, thank you.
Great, doing a good job. All right, any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you very much. We now go to call the public. I haven't received any notification that someone wants to address us tonight. Is there anybody in the audience that wants to address us? Seeing nobody moving, I'll close the call to the public. We'll go to comments and requests of council. Tonight, we start with Councilwoman Mesmer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At the Fry Cemetery on Saturday, the 29th, we'll be having Dusk with the Dead. And so what that is we're having actors portray people that are buried there. And we're going to have apple cider and other things, so it's open to the public. And also on November 2nd, we will be doing the blessing of the Fry Cemetery. It's been going on for almost 30 years now. And that's on November 2nd at 4:30, again there at the Fry Cemetery.
November 4:30. All right, is that it?
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Johnson?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. I just have one item that I'd like to address. I'm a member of the Sierra Vista MPO board, and yesterday we were talking about safety performance projections for the following year. And some of the data that we were was shared with the board are not good. Serious fatalities increased 14.6% year over year. We're projected, and I'm looking at the rate of fatalities, we're looking at 1,436 fatalities for this coming year. Right now, we're already on a terrible fatality count as of June 2022, up to 309 fatalities. I see every day on social media our first responders responding to accidents all over the city. It's very disturbing that a small town of 40,000 has 3 or 4 serious accidents and some fatalities. We lost a motorcycle accident at Coronado and Fry just this past week. I just implore everybody, stay off your damn cell phones, pay attention, drive the speed limit, and look out for the other guy. You know, everybody seems to be in a big hurry. Just slow down, because it's dangerous out there. And plus, we have the load drivers, you know, the nitwits that want to take some illegals from the border and take them up to the big cities. That's not helping matters either. So please, just be careful out there. Pay attention what you're doing while you're behind the wheel. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, well, I'm a little concerned with that, and Chief, I'd like you to weigh in if you've got similar numbers. But obviously, this is for the Sierra Vista metropolitan area, which is 74,000 plus a little bit in population, and that number of fatalities doesn't sound right.
This was for statewide. These were
statewide.
statewide
Okay, I'm sorry.
numbers. These were statewide
You have
numbers.
me seriously worried.
Yeah.
You have me
God, I hope
seriously
so.
worried.
Those are statewide.
But you're right, those are very high numbers for the state.
And I think we're seeing that trend here, but I'll
Yeah,
let
okay, but
the
Chief, if you
chief
could
speak to
look
that.
and see what the local numbers on, and maybe the next work session, you share, and the time period was the last year, Greg?
Pardon?
The time period was the last year?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so if you can look at that and let us know what our numbers are,
I will have
if
that
there's
for you.
significant increases or decreases, but he's absolutely right. People drive crazy on the highway, there's no doubt about it. So please be careful, especially with the holiday season coming up. It's only gonna get worse.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
And little ones out on Halloween.
Yeah, exactly. Dr. Landry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So lots of things going on this weekend. There's lots of events going on all over town. So just watch out for the kids out there. They're not really watching out for you. They're looking out to have fun. So watch out for them. Trunk or treating is for all ages. So if you see somebody out there that maybe looks like they're a little bit older, they're out there having some good fun. So let them have their fun. And then for everybody that's going out and partying, don't party too hard. If you do party too hard, make sure that you have some plans. Stay safe, and have a great weekend.
Thank you, Dr. Landry. Mr. Rodriguez.
Thank you, sir. Want to make sure everybody knows that National Night Out is happening next week. It's rescheduled to the November 1st. I know we'll still get a lot of people saying, what's going on at the park? There's a bunch of lights. There's a bunch of sirens. What's happening at the park? It's National Night Out. It's rescheduled for next week on Tuesday the 1st, the day after Halloween, from 5 to 8 p.m. So take the whole family out there. It's getting kind of cold. I don't know if they're still going to do the Frozen t-shirt contest or not, Chief, but
Sure he is.
all right. I'm going to go see that for sure. That'll be interesting that night. We're at Station 204 the other day for the opening, right? They have a beautiful map up there like a lot of fire stations do. The streets guys need one too. So we can get one of those made that's just as updated as that. We can get it over to the other building where the streets guys are at, because apparently the firefighters have a newer map than they do. So we got to make sure we're all on the level playing field. Because there's some things that are on the map that are on the other one. So we can get that fixed. And I think that'd be awesome for those guys and girls that work in that building. And just all around. We have some nice maps around the city, in our city buildings, but a lot of them are a little bit older now. We had some buildings that weren't there before, some roads that weren't there before. So I think something we could start looking into is getting some updated maps around for people that look at them.
Well, we definitely need it in the fire department, the EOC.
Yeah.
And for Public Works.
For sure.
at a minimum.
Yes. For Huachuca gate operations, you've probably seen the messages. They're going to be switching the gates. So what's old is new again. So our main gate is going to move back to Fry, right here at the Buffalo Soldier Gate, starting Wednesday, November 2nd. So that'll be open 24/7. So they'll have better access to Fry and the west end of town right there after those days. I like how for the community connecting, we offer that. If I'm not mistaken, that's a free. We give that open. That's free. They don't have to pay for that, right? That's probably I can sit down with Laura later or something like that. But I like that idea that we do that. It needs to be done. But also looking into other organizations that do the same thing, that promote benefits for our community, right? To make sure that they know that there's either a discount or it's free, or how they can get in on that, instead of, because sometimes they might not understand how that works, so they think they have to pay for all the time, when indeed there's a lot of times that we offer those discounts or free things. So, and I will point them in your direction to the Director of Fund if they have any of those questions, but that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. Mr. Benning.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to point out, Councilman Rodriguez is a fellow geospatial intelligence analyst like myself. That's why he focuses on maps.
That's driving me crazy.
But there's an event coming up December 1st. I want to start showing some light on, because I think it's important. And I know as a city, we want them to come work with us eventually when we build our animal shelter. So the county animal shelter is holding an update and their annual celebration December 1st at Events 161 from 6 to 8 p.m. I know Chief Thrasher is going to be in attendance. So I invite everybody to come out if you haven't got your invite yet. Come out and celebrate and see what they're doing, see the good things they're doing. And I agree with the streets. Councilman Johnson brought up one fatality. There was actually two, same street, almost right down the street. It's getting so bad, you open it and you look at one accident, and you think it's the same accident you're looking at a little bit later, but it's 3 different accidents all in one day. So slow down, get somewhere safe, get there safe, and happy Halloween. Be mindful of the kids out there, and thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Benning. Ms. Humphrey.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I wanted to make sure everyone was aware of another event that I hold near and dear to my heart, because it's going to benefit the Sierra Vista Unified Teachers and Student Scholarships here in Sierra Vista. And I know there's a lot happening. There's a lot to choose from. But if you don't have plans already, on Saturday night, the Spooktacular Bash is going this Saturday, October 29th, from 7 to 11 p.m. at the Old Door Shop. And you can purchase your tickets online at Eventbrite. And I was going to mention the gate, but since Councilmember Rodriguez already covered it, I did want to add that I think it's great that they are changing the old main gate is now the main gate, because we do have substation number 4 operating now, and that's going to help with Fort Huachuca firefighters responding to the community, and our EMS and firefighters responding on post, and for mutual aid, it'll greatly help with the times on that. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I do have a few things tonight. First, I'll just remind everybody that our next work session is at 3 o'clock on the 8th, and that is Election Day. So if you're waiting for results, it's a good place to come and hang out and get some work done while you're voting. And I will encourage everybody to go early and vote at the polls. I normally go about a half hour after they open. That's when all the people that have to get to work have already through the lines, and it usually goes pretty smooth. So please get out and vote on the 8th. It was mentioned earlier that our meeting on the 10th will be back at 4 o'clock, and I appreciate the council taking that change for me particularly. This Friday, 7 o'clock, Sierra Vista Symphony. They kind of have what I would call a curiosity. I've never seen an oboist as a soloist. And they've got a young lady who's an oboist, and I'm not sure exactly what she's going to play, but it's going to be interesting. So I would recommend that if you like classical music, you come see the Sierra Vista Symphony. It's one of the great organizations we have in town. And speaking of great organizations, the Chamber of Commerce is on 2 November is sponsoring Bring a Vet to Lunch at TMAC at 11:30. If you haven't got your tickets and reservations, you need to get on it. And that's usually a sold-out event that fills up the TMAC completely. And it's a great way to recognize our veterans, and they do a thing with the oldest veteran and the youngest veteran. And it really is a fine event. On 3 November is Down Under the Stars at the University South Foundation out there on the grounds of just north of Cochise College.
Oh, 5 November, sir.
It's 5 November. Excuse me, I couldn't read my writing here. 5 November, which is Friday or Saturday?
It's a Saturday.
Saturday night. And that they normally time that so that there's something to look at through the observatory. So it's really a good time, good food. They have some raffles and some other things going on there as well. And of course, the money is to raise scholarship funds for local kids for the university, which is always a good thing. Seeing nothing else before council, meeting's adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.